Hello students, in the previous class we have studied about transpiration, the definition and the types of transpiration, mechanism of transpiration, which is the stromatal transpiration, cuticular and lenticular transpiration. After that we have discussed about the factors affecting transpiration process. In today's topic we will study about the adaptation process. What are the types of adaptation, or what are the different adaptations in plants to reduce transpiration process. Transpiration is necessary for plants, but sometimes it causes wilting of the plants, or excessive loss may result in wilting or the damaging of the cells. So to reduce that, what are the adaptations in different plant, then the significance of transpiration, what is the main role of transpiration in plants, which makes it necessary for the plants, even if it is causing various adverse effect on the plants. Then the terms guttation and bleeding. Before this, these all topics, studying all these three topics, we'll study about the diagram given. Diagram is about the drawing of water from roots to shoot, and all the different cells involved in the process of transpiration, or all the different cells which are involved in the movement of water, or the cells from root hair to the shoot or the leaves, and after that the stromatal transpiration to the atmosphere. So that water movement, what are the cells involved in that water movement from lower parts to the shoot of the plants. Then in the next diagram, this is the diagram about the xerophytic plant, which is a cactus. In the cactus, the stomata is sunken stomata. Sunken stomata, which is reduced stomata, or the stomata moves to the inner part of the cells, or towards the mesophyll cells, to reduce the loss of water, and that movement of stomata towards the inner side is sunken stomata. Sometimes the stomatas are covered with hair-like structures to reduce transpiration, as in case of Nerium. Then in case of cactus, there are various adaptations. So with the help of this diagram, we'll study about the adaptation in xerophytic plants, especially the cactus, to reduce loss of transpiration. So let's start with the diagram, this one. Let's start with the lower end, which is the root. At the lower end, or the root, this is the structure which is the center of the root, which contains xylem. Xylem, which is the main transporting agent for the which is which transports water and minerals in the plant. So xylem, it is connected with the cortex and root hair. From the root hair is in contact with the soil. From the soil particles, the layer of water is in the form of thin film. From the thin film, the root hair, the water concentration inside the root hair is less. The concentration of substances, or the nutrients, is more in root hair. So it draws water from the soil particles. The water enters from soil to root, then to the cortex, then to xylem. This one, the process involved is imbibition as well as osmosis. Imbibition is through the cell wall. Imbibition is through the cell wall, while osmosis is from cell to cell through membrane. Through membrane. Membrane. So cell wall, through cell, imbibition is through cell wall. Cell wall is freely permeable, so it allows easy movement of water from the cell wall, through the cell wall. And the osmosis process, it has to move through the semi-permeable membrane. So the process is slow process. Then by means of imbibition and osmosis, the water from the soil reaches up to xylem. In the xylem, through the xylem vessels and trachees. This is this long tube-like structure. represents xylem vessels and tracheids. Through xylem vessels and tracheids, it reaches up to the midrib of the leaf. So this section is about the stem portion. Stem, xylem vessels and tracheids. In the green stem, the transpiration is with the help of, in green stems, the transpiration is with the help of stomata. While in case of woody stem or the bark, the transpiration is by means of lenticels. So lenticular transpiration. This is the medullary ray and cortex area. Medullary ray and cortex. Through this portion, through the lenticels, the minute opening present on the woody stem or bark, the water vapor gets evaporated to the atmosphere. Then the water moves up to the midrib. In the midrib section, this is the section which is the leaf part. In the leaf, the movement, the evaporation of water is by stomatal transpiration, by cuticular transpiration, by guttation. All three means. So let's first discuss the structure which we have studied in the earlier class also. That is the cuticular transpiration through the thin layer of cuticle, waxy coating secreted by the epidermis. This is the epidermal layer, epidermis. Then this is palisade, parenchyma. This is spongy parenchyma, spongy parenchyma. Then these are the midrib cells which contain xylem and phloem. Xylem which transports water from the tracheids and vessels of the stem to the leaves. Then from the intercellular spaces, water reaches up to the stomata, and through the stomatal transpiration it is evaporated towards outside. Next is through the guttation. Guttation on the leaf margin. On the margin of leaves, special pores are present. These pores are termed as hydatodes. Hydatodes, special pores through which there is oozing out of water, or exudation of water. Water exudates outside or oozes outside, that and through the leaf margins, or through the special openings which is the hydatodes. So this is guttation. Now here the overall process from transportation of water from roots to shoot involves imbibition and osmosis in the cell wall or the cell membrane, resulting in the transportation of water from soil to xylem. Then the upward movement, which is by the transpirational pull or the capillary action. Transpirational pull, which is created by the suction force when the water evaporates from the stomata. It results in drawing of water from the midrib. After that, midrib draws water from the tracheids and xylem vessels, and this creates a suction pressure, similarly as we are sucking through a straw while consuming drinks. So that same suction pressure is created in the transpirational pull. Now this is the diagram to represent, and then in the stem portion the transpiration is by the lenticels, small opening on the woody stem or bark. Then in the leaf portion, this is the ileus of leaf, and in the leaf portion the transpiration is by cuticles or stomatal transpiration, then guttation or guttation through the hydatodes. So this is all about the diagram. And next is about the diagram which is cactus. About the cactus plant or the xerophytic plants have various adaptation features to reduce loss of transpiration, as the absorption of water or availability of water in these areas are very less. So the plants have adapted themselves to survive in the less water area or the xerophytic condition. This is the diagram of the cactus plant. The plant is green, having green stem, which is responsible for the photosynthesis. And the stem is swollen stem. So swollen stem is again helpful to store water. Then in the diagram you can see the grooves. These diagrams are given in your book also. From the book you can refer. The grooves in the stomata represents grooves in the stem. Grooves in the stem represent sunken stomata, or the stomata moves towards inside to reduce transpirational loss by high speed wind, or the wind velocity is higher in the desert areas. To reduce transpirational loss, the stomata is sunken. To reduce transpirational loss. Then reduce leaf. Leaves are reduced to spines in order to reduce transpiration process. Then next come to the root portion. Roots are of two types: shallow roots as well as deep roots. Deep roots penetrate up to the water table, while shallow roots absorb lightest of the rainfall. If the light rainfall is in that area, so shallow roots are there to absorb water from the rainfall, and deep roots to penetrate the water table. So this is all about the diagram of cactus to show the adaptive features, which is swollen green stem, then reduced leaves which leaves are reduced to spines. Then roots are of two types: deep roots as well as shallow roots. Then next is the adaptation in plants. First, few adaptation we have studied in this diagram only. So few more adaptive features. Adaptation in plants. Adaptation in plants, first is sunken stomata. Where stomata moves towards the inner side or gets covered with a hair-like structure as in anarium to reduce transpirational loss. Number 2 is fewer stomata. To reduce loss of transpiration. Less the number of stomata, lesser is the transpirational loss. Then reduced surface. Reduced surface means the leaves either roll down, or they curl or get in wavy in appearance to reduce the exposure of leaves towards the sunlight. So that reduced leaf surface. Or next is narrow leaves. In case of narrow leaves, the exposure to the sunlight is less as compared to broad leaves. So narrow leaves are responsible for reduced transpiration. Then next is leaves reduced to spines, as in case of cactus we have studied. Next is presence of stomata on the undersurface of leaf. On the undersurface or the dorsal surface. So that the light intensity would not fall directly on the stomata, So there is the number of stomata is more on the lower surface as compared to the upper surface. For this there is an experiment also. In case of leaf, we have taken 2 leaves, and here the leaves are covered with 2 slides tied with the help of clip. In between the slide there is a strip of dry cobalt paper, and same in this case also. Between 2 slides, dry cobalt paper is placed. Cobalt paper is blue in color. When it comes in contact with moisture or water vapor, it turns pink. So this is in this upper surface. Here lower surface, exposed mid-rib, and this one lower surface of the leaf, lower surface. Now what happens that after when we are covering the leaves are remain attached to the plant body, and after some time what we observe is, in case of the first, the dry cobalt paper either remain blue in color, or there is no change in color, or it changes its color to pink after a long period or after a long time. And this, while in case of lower surface, the transpiration is more in the lower surface, so dry cobalt paper changes after few minutes into pink, from blue to pink. So dry cobalt paper turns blue to pink. So this indicates presence of water vapor, presence of water. In here also stomata are present, but very less in number. So evaporation process is very slow. Therefore the change in color is also very slow, or there is no change. While in this one lower surface, the number of stomata is more stomata means more evaporation, more transpiration, and the cobalt paper changes within few minutes into pink. So this is the experiment to show that. Then the next is significance of transpiration. Significance of transpiration. Number 1 is cooling effect. Cooling effect is transpiration results in the oozing out of water or loss of water through the stomatal openings, and the water vapors they deposit or not deposit, they are more near the leaf surface. So more concentration of water vapor near the leaf surface, resulting in cooling down of the leaves or the aerial parts, and this cooling down is necessary for the enzymes to work, or enzymes to get activated. While in case if the intensity or if the heat is very high, if the temperature is very high, it would result in denaturing of the enzymes. To reduce that or to avoid that denaturation of enzymes, the water vapor or the cooling of the exposed surface is required. Then next is suction pressure. This we have studied and discussed in the first diagrammatic structure, that the drawing of water or taking of water or evaporation of water from the intercellular spaces through the stomata towards outside results in creating a suction pull into the midrib or the vein, then from vein to the Tracheidsand vessel, and then drawing water from the Tracheidsand vessel to from the lower parts of the plant. So this suction pressure is created by the loss of water vapor through the stomatal opening, or by the phenomena which is transpiration. Next is number 3, which number 3 is transportation of minerals and nutrients. Since the water has to be transported from the lowermost part, which is the roots, to the shoot, which is the highest point of the plant, so that transportation, it involves all the tissues, all the vascular parts, or all the cells in this transportation process. So the transportation of minerals and nutrients along with water is by the help of transpiration, and so transpiration also helps in transportation of mineral and nutrients, as the water is transported from the lowermost part to the uppermost shoot portion. So this is all about today's topic, that is significance of transpiration, which is the cooling effect, suction pressure, and transportation of minerals. Then the last topic of for today is guttation and bleeding. Guttation I have described earlier in the diagram, that guttation is the oozing out or exudation of water from the leaf margins or through the hydrothodes. Hydrothodes, which is the special opening on the leaf margin. Then next is bleeding. Bleeding is oozing out of the cell sap through a cut or acne. If there is that cut is by accident, or this one accidental cut or rupture of the cell or tissue results in oozing out of the cell sap, which is termed as bleeding. Then one more thing, that the transpiration we have studied all the factors and all the terms involved in the transpiration. All the water absorbed by the plant, out of 100, 98% of water is evaporated through transpiration. 98% gets evaporated through transpiration. Only 2% is utilized by the plant. For example, in case of sunflower loses almost half a liter of water in a day, while maize plant loses about 2 to 3 liters of water per day, while in case of apple trees, the loss of water is about 30 liters per day. So this loss of water in the climate results in cooling effect in the climate, which brings rain. So the question may be asked that how the rain or the climatic change is affected by transpiration. So this loss of water gets deposited in the atmosphere or climate, resulting in the rain. So this is all about the transpiration topic, and in the next class we'll study about few experimental setups to show that transpiration takes place through the leaf surface and the change in dry cobalt paper. So few experiments in the next class. Thank you for today's session.